So I'm going to have my nice little cartilage model. I have my wrapping with the connective tissue. Well, when this development continues to occur, what do I see happening in my second picture right here? I see a blood vessel, and that blood vessel is invading. Now, let me think about this for a second. Do we not have stem cells in that connective tissue? Yes. So now, blood vessel has invaded it. What can be carried in the blood that could affect the stem cells? The only thing that can make a stem cell do what it's supposed to do is the right chemical. All right, so in the blood would be the chemicals needed. So the blood vessel invaded. And now, what else do I see taking place in the second picture right here? The cartilage is getting calcified. So that means at this area where the blood vessel invades, it's going to take stem cells that are present, and we're now turning what was perichondrium into what? Periosteum, which is the connective tissue around the bone. And that connective tissue has which one of those really cool names for the stem cells? Which stem cells present?
The long word.
The long word.
Osteochondral progenitor cells.
Osteochondral progenitor cells, which tell me I have cells for both bone and cartilage. Okay, so now what happens, it begins to form what we term a bone collar. Notice that this is taking place around the area that was invaded by the blood vessel. Now, this is cartilage here, this is cartilage here. What has taken place at this area has now taken that cartilage and hardened it. So we now say calcified cartilage. So calcified cartilage is now showing up in what looks like the diaphysis of that bone, the shaft of that bone. Now, as development continues to take place, in other words, continuing to grow, continuing to develop, all right? What else? What's happening from here to here? All right, looks like that blood vessel is continuing to invade. That blood vessel is beginning to branch out and spread throughout that tissue. Bone, all right, we've got some really good compact bone showing up. This is now termed our primary ossification center, because we have taken that area that was cartilage, affected those cartilage cells. The cells are now being taken over and are becoming bone, and in the middle of our long bone, well, a lot of the bones in the body, we get spongy bone that shows up, and compact bone surrounds the spongy bone. Now, I'm still looking here at the ends of the bone, and the ends of the bone are still mostly cartilage. But I now have a primary ossification center that is present, that is hardening that cartilage. So, as the child continues to grow, okay, their bones are matching that. Does that make sense? With the hardest portion being in the shaft area. The ends still a little more flexible. So, continue to grow, continue to grow, continue to grow, and we end up turning all of that area into the compact bone, the spongy bones. But now what do I see happening in this picture? Because I had my primary ossification center there, the ends of the bones were still the cartilage. Do you notice anything happening now? We're now seeing some of that ossification center show up in the ends of the bones. We're continuing to push out in both directions the cartilage region so that the bone can grow longer. We see more blood vessels invading because blood vessels are carrying materials to the bone cells. So we now have a primary ossification center and what we're going to term a secondary ossification center, which is taking place to the ends of the bone. So, if we begin to look as we grow and grow and grow, okay, we're continuing to see the pushing out of that cartilage being replaced by bone. We now have the cartilage at the ends of the bone being replaced, okay, until we end up with an area right here that is just left with just the cartilage being present. So as they continue to grow and grow to their full height, at the point before the bone is completely hardened, we're down to only a small region that's present. And we know this as our growth plate. It's allowing for this growth to occur in the length of that bone. For the most part, spongy bone's there, compact bone is there. As we reach the full height that we're supposed to be, this is going to disappear. There won't be any of that cartilage left because it will have all hardened, and then those bones, it becomes the one bone with what we know as the epiphyseal line. So at the full growth, which females roughly 18 to 20, males roughly 21 to 24, okay, that's all that will be present in the adult skeleton. That's left over after all of that cartilage was present. And that's how the bone grows in length. Does bone only grow in length, however? Which other way do we need it to grow? Width. All right? We need it to also grow in width. So at this point, when we have talked about length, okay, that means that osteon that we talked about yesterday has done this number, right? But now that's not the only way that the bone grows. Bone's got to grow this way. Now, one of the things that I tried to point out pretty heavily in the pictures, the invasion of the blood vessels. What do we remember from yesterday about the blood vessels in the bone?
The blood vessels are horizontal and
Yes, blood vessels are going to be horizontal and vertical into the bone tissue. So bone growth, we can have it grow in length because of what we just saw taking place at that area we term the epiphyseal plate. We get the cartilage growth. Cartilage growth begins to get taken over by the bone tissue. But we can also grow in width. Appositional growth. Now, closure of that epiphyseal plate, anywhere from 12 to 25 years of age, okay, based on the height of the child. Now, there is a cartilage in our body that we need to take notice of because it's found at the ends of long bones. It's a cartilage that what you have at birth, what you get is what you got. Even though it's found on the ends of the long bones, it doesn't ossify. It stays present. Even now, you're walking around with articular cartilage. When you've got two bones that have to articulate, as that bone grows, it stays covered with this articular cartilage, and that cartilage doesn't ossify. Now, it gets abused over your lifespan. Once it's done, it's done. Most of the, well, almost all of the time, when that is worn down too much, the only option for a person is joint replacement. Because once that's done, bone is rubbing on bone, and from what I can understand, that's very, 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 very painful. You know, knee replacements, shoulder replacements, hip replacements, okay? Most of the time, articular cartilage has just been worn completely out. But that does not ossify, okay? What you get is what you got throughout your life. Now, appositional growth. Let's make that bone wider. Because we can't simply have what the little baby has and keep it that way and expect it to support us as an adult. So we need the bone to grow this direction also. So, appositional growth. Once again, the cells that are going to be present, the cells that are going to be those osteochondral progenitor cells, osteoblast, osteocytes, osteoclast, chondroblast, chondrocytes. They help us do this. They help the bone grow not only in height, but in width. Now, in height, if we look under a scope at what's taking place, this is what it looks like. What do you think? I think it's a pretty picture, okay? I love pinks, purples, and reds.